Hi, everybody, and welcome to training number 2 for Common Ground 2020. My name is Stephanie Hicks-Thompson, and I am here with Cleveland Action Strategist from ioby, Don Arrington. Hi. I'm so happy to have us here today. This training is going to be talking about how to take your vision and the topics from your Common Ground conversations into action. And no one in this town does it better than ioby and Neighbor Up. Those are the two groups that we're going to be talking to today. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about ioby, but let me share a little bit of the history about where sort of action planning came from out of Common Ground and the event itself. So the first year that we held Common Ground, we had great conversations. People were really energized. And then we had our day of conversation, people went and it was spectacular. And then the weeks afterwards, the team at the foundation started getting information and feedback from people. They're like, what do we do next? You know, we had all of this excitement and it built up. And then we didn't know what to do next. And we really took that feedback to heart. And so in the next year, we worked with our partners at ioby and Neighborhood Connections to create an action planning structure. So that when our hosts and the people in the community who create these conversations bring people together, those people create ideas, they can take next steps and action towards improving their community. Now, I want to stress, if you haven't had your conversation yet, or you don't come out with it with an actionable idea, that's okay. You know, all of this is just just an option and a support network available to you. But in this day and age, as we say in Common Ground, coming together to share a conversation with people you don't know is a brave act. And that is enough to make those connections. But we do find that in these conversations, people do connect and create really unique ideas to address issues and opportunities in their neighborhoods. And we want to make sure that there are mechanisms for them to use to take action. And I want to say, these ioby, Neighbor Up, Neighbor Connections, these are existing organizations. They have been, Dawn and her team and her folks, the Neighbor Up team, have been doing this work in our community for years. This is just a really exciting partnership that we brought into Common Ground to try to make available some of these really great opportunities to our participants. So in the past years, we've had great success between the two options. ioby is a crowdfunding platform, so that allows you to fundraise for yourself. Neighbor Up, Neighborhood Connections, I switch back and forth. We'll call them Neighbor Up from now on. They do a small grants program, and they offer $500 to $1,000 action grants following Common Ground conversations that are specifically for Common Ground hosts. And we've done, I think in the last few years, over 80 different community projects and gave out tens of thousands of dollars to local projects, some that have continued over the years and expanded and done even more as they've gone through. So it's been a really incredible opportunity for the community. We've seen some incredible work come out of it. And so now I would like, Dawn, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what you do, how ioby works, and how our Common Ground participants can take advantage of it.
Awesome introduction, Stephanie. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to do a quick screen share and get us all started. And apologies ahead of time if my dog decides to join this call. All right, so I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of a background about what ioby is. ioby stands for In Our Backyards, which is the opposite of NIMBY, not in my backyard. So oftentimes people do want to take action, or they do want to do something, but I feel like the NIMBYs of the world tell people that they can't get something done, something good done in their neighborhood. So we believe that local knows best, that you know what's right for your community and for your neighborhoods. And this is just one strategy of getting good done in your communities. I also believe that a lot of the skills that I do the coaching for are transferable skills. So things like learning how to do storytelling, how to tell your story appropriately or effectively so you can actually organize and raise resources, money and people and time and energy and donations to leverage them to get your project done. Team building, a little bit of marketing and outreach and things of that sort. And so these are all being able to like leverage the assets that you have within your own backyard is exactly why I do this work and really what this work is about. Yes, it's a crowdfunding platform. And there are nuts and bolts to raising money to get something done. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for your community. And it's our job to help you leverage those resources to get it done. All right, so maybe, there we go. So like I said, ioby stands for In Our Backyards. This is our staff. A few people have come and gone off of the team, but this is who we are. And so ioby is a nonprofit crowdfunding platform, but we're more than crowdfunding, and we're committed to positive neighbor-led change. We can also be your fiscal sponsor for most projects. There are a few projects where we can't be the fiscal sponsor for like small businesses. However, we do believe that economic development and projects like that actually serve the greater good for a community. So if you can find a fiscal sponsor, we have allow projects like, you know, small incubator spaces, or in Detroit, there was a bakery, there was like a whole like development on a street in a disinvested community. Those types of projects are eligible to fundraise with us. It's just you'll need to have a fiscal sponsor for that. But for a lot of our projects, we can be your fiscal sponsor as long as there's some community good, some greater good for the community. Right now, we are waiving our fees, our fiscal sponsorship fee and our platform fee for COVID-related projects. And we're kind of broadly defining that, but these are projects that are in response to COVID or that have to make major adjustments in order to respond to COVID in a responsible way. And anyone honestly can work with us. You don't have to be an expert in crowdfunding or organizing or really anything. You just have to have a passion and a project that you want to get done, and I'll work with you. So in Cleveland, these numbers are really low, actually, because COVID changed our world. But I think we're closer to $800,000 so far that has been raised by projects in Cleveland, and we're well over 300 projects at this point. And neighbors trained. So you at home watching this video, downloading this, you are now part of the fold of our neighborhood leaders that are being trained. And the median donation size is actually about $100 right now for projects. So we've been in Cleveland 4 years now, I think. ioby has been around for 11 years. So the impact is here. We are making impact. Small donations, one at a time, people learning how to make change and affect change in their communities. So I wanted to highlight a few COVID-related projects that we had recently. There were the front yard concerts. I love this project because it is promoting community connectivity through music. And so those are two things that I absolutely love: local music and community connectivity. And then the Cleveland Rocks Music Relief Fund. So this is what we would call a mutual aid group. So this mutual aid group focuses on musicians, local artists who have lost their source of income because gigs are not being played right now. And so they needed immediate relief. And they raised, it was more than $10,000 in order to support local artists for just their basic needs. And then the Meals with Double Benefits. I like this project because on the west side, there is a Lutheran hospital, and the residents in that neighborhood decided to support the local businesses in the community by supporting hospital and frontline workers with meals from these restaurants that were feeling the pinch during the really tight time of the pandemic. So how do you share an idea with us? It's really simple. You're just going to go to ioby.org/idea, and you're going to take 1 minute and fill out this intake form. I mean, literally 1 minute. Just tell me what your idea is, like one sentence or two, how much money you need to raise, and when you need to raise it by, and how I can get in contact with you. I'll reach back out to you, and we'll set up some time to talk. I do want to highlight that we have 2 match funds. Match funds are this great incentive. It's not a magic bullet to raise money, but it's a great incentive to be able to put out to your neighbors and to your family and your friends and say, hey, if you only have $10 right now, that $10 can be matched instantly. And it will go to further our goal of getting X, Y, or Z project complete. So the 2 match funds that we have one with Neighbor Up, and those are for COVID projects, but not immediate response or relief projects. These are more projects that have a longer term goal. So think about food insecurity in community gardens, or increasing internet connectivity for people who generally just have been left out of the, who have been on the wrong side of the digital divide, or youth programs and things of that sort. Or even like mental health, I think is going to be a big one that's going to come up. And now I'm thinking like with schools not necessarily reopening in the traditional sense, there are going to be a lot of parents and educators who are going to have to think outside of the box to make sure that our kids are taken care of. And so those are the types of projects that would be okay for that particular match fund. And then we have a little bit less than half of the money left from the Cuyahoga Arts and Culture match fund, and those are projects that take place in Cuyahoga County that have a focus on arts and culture, and that does include the natural sciences. So if it's somebody who's trying to teach, like, you know, gardening and learning about like the environment, that can all be a part of it as well. So again, submit these ideas. Let's take the first step in action. You can also reach out to me by emailing me, dawn@ioby.org. My phone number, 216-930-4030. And again, I can't stress enough, submit that idea, because even if you send me an email or you give me a call, I'm still gonna say, have you submitted that idea yet? Because I really wanna get that down. I really wanna understand what it is that you're doing, so I can best coach you and help you get through this process, and so you can learn the tips and the tricks and the tools that will make your project successful. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dawn. That was spectacular. I'm so excited about the opportunities that our group has to take advantage of some of these match funds and different project opportunities that are available through ioby. Just want to say, reach out to Dawn. She's not just able to help you figure out how to crowdfund, but she's also great at helping you sort of sculpt your idea and look at how to, you know, really refine what you're doing and how to like figure out your partners and things like that. There's a ton of expertise there, so take advantage of her. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing. And so up next, we're going to have Erika Brown from Neighbor Up, and she'll be sharing a little bit about our fast action grants that we have after your Common Ground conversation that's available, and we're offering those through the fall. So stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erika Brown, and I'm with Neighborhood Connections and the Neighbor Up Network. Thank you so much for participating in Common Ground. The importance of having conversations about things that we care about cannot be stressed enough. So thank you for hosting and participating in those conversations. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Neighborhood Connections and the Neighbor Up Network. Neighborhood Connections specializes in small grants to community members and small nonprofits who want to make a change right where they live. The mission of the Neighbor Up Network is to ignite the power of everyday people to create together an extraordinary world right where they live. So I work for Neighborhood Connections, but all of my work is in support of the Neighbor Up Network. And at this time, we have about 3,000 to 4,000 card-carrying members, a diverse group of Greater Clevelanders from around here and beyond who are working together to build their personal power, put it together with their neighbors and other people who care about the same things they care about, and take that collective power to make the change that they want to see. What I'm here to talk about today is what's next after your conversation. So let's just be clear. First of all, having the conversation is a big deal. And if that's where it ends, that is great. You form some new relationships, even if it's virtually. You have some new contacts. You know some new people who either agree or disagree with you, but who are willing to have conversation with you. And you can move on from there and keep doing that. If what you want to do next requires some funding, there are Neighbor Up Action grants for Common Ground participants and for hosts that you can apply for in the upcoming weeks. Those grants go up to $1,000 and are available for participants all across the areas of Cuyahoga, Lake, and Geauga County for funding the things that you want to do to take it to the next level. So if what you want to do is host another conversation to continue what you started, if what you want to do is get out there and talk about the things that help people count, are you doing things that have to do with voting? Are you doing things that have to do with the census? Are you doing things that have to do with COVID relief for people in your community? Because those are the things that you talked about. Contact us and let us know that that's what you need money for. The next thing I want to talk about is outside of these grants that are available, there is help available for you to figure out what you want to do with the grant money. So you might say, I have an idea, but I don't know what to do next. So another option is for you to come to an action clinic. And what we do at action clinics is we help you plan out what it is that you're going to do. We help you think about why you're going to do it. We help you think about, like, what do you want to have happen as a result of doing that? Who do you need to be in contact with? How is this going to serve the community? How are you going to be engaged with the community? How does this build relationships? And how does this lead to action that can be ongoing in your community? To help with that, I'm going to be available for several dates. So there will be Mondays coming up, August 31st, September 21st, and October 5th at 6 p.m. We'll be able to have a virtual conversation. You'll be able to get some one-on-one attention to work through what it is that you want to plan, to figure out if it requires funding, to figure out if you just need more volunteers, to figure out any tools that you need in order to execute it. Also with the Action Clinic is the opportunity to follow up with me later on. There will be some tools that I offer to you while we're in the Action Clinic to help you plan. And we can also send out like actual email forms so you can have it on paper in front of you. The other set of action clinics will be on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. That will be Tuesday, September 1st, Tuesday, September 22nd, and Tuesday, October 6th. The Zoom links will be available at neighborupcle.org/common ground. And then you'll also be able to contact me for any information that you need after that. Again, my name is Erika Brown. My email address is ebrown@neighborhoodgrants.org. And my phone number is 216-313-7263. I look forward to meeting all of you. I look forward to talking to you and figuring out how you want to take action after your Common Ground conversations. I think we're going to have a great time and we're going to get some things done in 2020. Thank you for your time.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Erika. It was so great to hear from you again. You're my very favorite. Everybody, please, just like Dawn, Erika is a absolute treasure trove of resources and deep knowledge, and she can help you take your project from an idea to finish. And Neighbor Up is there to help you with funds to help you get there. If you're interested in hearing some stories about some of the ways some of these projects have come together in the past using both Neighbor Up grants and ioby, there is an opportunity coming up through the Cleveland Foundation's annual meeting. It's this September 2nd, 2020, starting at noon, and it's a Learn from the Leader opportunity. So we're going to have 4 different project leaders from across the Cleveland area who've done some really unique crowdfunding and grant-funded projects. You're going to want to hear from them. They are really the pinnacle of work that's happening in our community. So take this advantage. You can register at clevelandfoundation.org/annual meeting. If you're watching this video after September 2nd, don't worry. These videos are available on the Cleveland Foundation YouTube page. So jump in and check that out, because there's going to be some great tips and stories about how people have gone from idea to action. And that's really what we're trying to help do this year with Common Ground 2020. So thanks again to Dawn and Erika. We look forward to hearing what comes next from all of you. Thanks.